Hi, my name is Silent, and this is a video I wanted to make to tell my story how I found out I had stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma, um, which is considered cancer. Um, I want to start off with when things started have going bad. In March 2016, um, I woke up one morning with blood in my nose. Um, but it was blood that was always on my nose, wet, not dry. It wasn't dripping, but it was just wet blood. I will clean it and continuously. So I just let it be until 4 p.m. that day when I looked down and on my knees and on my legs I had dots. And then at that point, I decided to just go to the hospital and get myself checked out. So they ran some tests, they took my blood, they put me in an IV. Around, I want to say 9 or 10 p.m. that night, someone came to me and asked me to sign a paper because they needed my consent to do a transfusion of platelets. And at this point, I have no idea what platelets are, so I signed it. And the second the doctor left and I spoke with my mom over the phone, she didn't like what she was hearing because platelets it's not something you just give to a sick patient. It's basically something, it's a transfusion. And basically when transfusions happen, there's something going on that's not as simple as you don't have any. So that night they said I can't go home. I had to stay in the hospital. Around 4, so at this time she comes with me to the hospital and she's staying there with me. And right around 2 a.m. they were able to find me a bed upstairs. That's when I went upstairs and I spent the night in the hospital. And I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything. Just be in the bed, and it was painful. Right after the first 2 weeks, my platelets count just went up. And at this time, during the time, they explained to us what they think I had, which is ITP. It's a condition where the body produces the platelets, and then my own body destroys it. They had no idea why. They just said this is what we think you have. And so basically, right around 2 weeks later, from the first time I went to the hospital, my platelet came back. They just came up by themselves. And I say by themselves because every time they were giving me a transfusion, my body will then kill it. So right around at the end of the 2 weeks, my body just produced its own plate and just decided to stop killing it. So a week after that, I was in the house, and again, same thing. I kept bleeding, and at this point, my mom said, "I don't care what you say. Let's go to the hospital." So we went. And again, same thing. It was at the very beginning of them dropping, and right that night they dropped again to almost It's not zero, but they just couldn't find any. So during this time, my mom just kept asking the doctors, "Can we perform bone marrow? Can we do this? Can we do this? Blah blah blah." And I remember telling my mother, "Chill, because I don't want no bone marrow done on me because I know what that is. I know it's painful." And so yeah, so one morning I got up and the doctor goes like, "Listen, we're gonna perform a bone marrow on you right now." I'm like, "What you mean right now?" I'm like, "Yo, right now." I'm like, "So you taking me somewhere?" He's like, "No, we're gonna do it in the bed." So that day, My mom came rushing to the hospital, and so a bone marrow was done on me, and they only numbed the area. They couldn't give me anything else because I just couldn't take anything else. Um, that morning of the bone marrow, right before the bone marrow doctor came in to perform his, whatever bone marrow, the doctors injected me with Benadryl directly and with coloring because they were going to perform a search in my body. So that morning I woke up, they performed the bone marrow. As soon as the bone marrow was performed, a different doctor said, we're going to try to look what's underneath your armpit, and we're going to take some blood to see if we can cut. And so the nurse comes, takes blood, leaves, comes back. I forgot how long it was because I was kind of out because of the Benadryl. So next thing you know, the doctor comes back to me and tells me, I'm sorry, we can't cut. So we're going to give you 2 transfusions of platelets. So they gave me the platelets, 2 of them. They took about an hour each. Then they decided to run a blood test again. Still, nothing, no platelets. So they said, we can't cut, so let's go ahead and shoot the cell and see if we could come up with something, what that is. So they shot it, They shot it multiple times. They held it, they shot it. It came back inconclusive. At this point, closer to 2 weeks after that, my blood doctor decided to transfer me to the cancer facility in a different hospital due to the fact that the nurses there was going to perform something on me to help with my ITP problem. That morning, when I was transferred, my platelets just went back up by themselves, and they just released me. They said, you know what, you're good to go. Come back in 2 days. Let's monitor your platelets. But for some reason, they just went up by themselves. No one knew why. So that was the first time that something was found on my armpit. But at that time, it came in inconclusive, so we just left it alone. Forward to this year, 2017, I tell my blood doctor I'm still bleeding from my nose. I will wake up, clean my nose, have mucus with dry blood all the time. And so the doctor who was overseeing what my blood doctor was doing just said, you know what, let's send him to do a CAT scan, CT scan, of all these medical terms. They performed so many things. They found out that what they found in March grew an inch or 2, or I don't know how much to be exact, but it grew. That's what I heard. That's what I took from it. He decided to then send me to have it removed. So the surgeon looked at it. He was concerned. He said, yes, I feel it. It's a little bit too big. Let's go ahead and remove it. So I go and remove it on exactly June 23rd. I went and got it removed. So I go, they remove it, and on the 29th of June, the doctor, when we went back to the doctor to have the area cleaned, I went with my mom this time, and he tells me and my mother, so we have determined that what you have is Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I said thank you, and I walked away, not because, well, I was thankful that he told me, but because I have no idea what it was. He didn't use the word cancer, so I'm fine, right? That's what I thought. He tells me that. I say thank you. My mom is like, whoa, what you said? Say it again. Explain to me. she pulled him to the side so that I don't hear nothing. And they spoke about how, yes, it's cancer. And all he asked was give us a week for us to determine the stage. So come back next week. They told us we're going to treat it as a stage 2. And you got to go speak to a cancer specialist, which thankfully enough was the type of doctor overlooking my blood doctor. So he took over, and now I'm his patient, and he gives me the option, of what it is, what to do. Do I go take radiation only, or chemo? So I go to a radiation specialist, and he tells me he thinks it could be killed with radiation, but gave me what could happen by just taking the radiation. Then I went and go to my cancer specialist, and he told me what the benefits of taking chemo is. So they determined that I'm better off getting radiation only, but they gave me the option. And I said, listen, I don't want to deal with this crap in the future, so let's go with chemo first, then radiation. And at this moment, they start throwing medical terms around, asking me if I want to freeze my sperm and all that. And my mom is right next to me, and my mother is the one who's usually taking care of conversations with the doctor, because I tend to have panic attack when a doctor tries to explain to me what he wants to do, what's wrong with me, what the nurses are doing in my veins, or blah blah blah. I get panic attacks, so I allow her to talk to them and decide what to do. So at that moment, we concluded that I needed to go get a port done because I have no good veins. And so I'm like, fine, whatever. So I thought they were going to do the port, and they said, no, you got to go to a surgeon to do that. I'm like, okay. So we went on exactly a month later, the 26th. Yes, the 26th I went, a month later after that. And so they put the port on me. And a week after they put the port, it got infected. So the morning of the first chemo, it got infected. And so I went, they got it removed. And they took it out on August 4th of this month, 2017. So they took it out. I still have this over. It's looking very good. It's closing. And at this moment, the only thing I'm waiting for the treatment is to get a second one done on this side by the same person who performed the first one. And so tomorrow, September 1st, 2017, I'm going to get my second port placed. After that, on Tuesday of next week and Wednesday, I'm going to get the first treatment of chemo. And I'm hoping everything goes right. We took the precautions to clean my room because the doctors are not going to seal it because they're afraid something could get infected. Maybe I'm too sensitive to everything they put on me, so they're not doing that. So I'm going to go and just take it, get on my bed, and just make sure everything around me is totally clean. And hopefully, God forbid, nothing happens and the port is good to go because they claim I have no veins for what they want to do. So, yeah, that's basically where we're at right now of my treatment of what's next, the procedure. But throughout all this, I still have hives all over, and to my understanding, some patients of Hodgkin's lymphoma, they have scratches. They have to scratch themselves all the time. I don't have scratches because it doesn't itch. But what I do have is hives all over the place. I will wake up, I'm sweating bullets, which is normal for Hodgkin's lymphoma patients to sweat, nice sweats. So I'm sweating all over the place. I have hives all over the place. And at this point, only two of my doctors have told me it could be a possibility that the hives ITP is connected with the Hodgkin's lymphoma. But my cancer specialist doesn't agree. He says they're not connected in any way. I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure, A, B, C, and so on. So basically, I have hives all over the place, and I have night sweats, and those are my major signs. I don't have any other signs. My lymph nodes were not hurting me. The tumor that they claimed I had, which I didn't feel because again I thought it was my weight. So now I know that me gaining weight was because of the lymphoma. But it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. I saw the lump and I'm like, okay, I'm overweight. I gotta lose weight. So long story short, that's basically my story. I'm somebody very sensitive. You can't put nothing on me or my skin reacts. I have panic attacks, but if everything goes right, by next week I should have my first treatment, and I plan to make a second video. Maybe the day of treatment, maybe sometime in the middle of the treatment, but definitely I'm gonna keep updating because I wanted to make the video for me to help others and for me to also look back and see the progression of from start to finish. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you as best as I can. And but the only thing I want to say is I appreciate everyone supporting me. So believe it or not, I'm not worried for me. I'm worried about the people around me. I see how this is affecting them, and I'm like, I have to be stronger for them. My mother has been slowly explaining to me what happens with the chemo because my sister had she had cancer. Again, I don't know what it's called. Leukemia, I think it was. Yes, leukemia. And she was the only one in her hospital that survived. So thank God she's a cancer survivor. She beat it, and I'm sure I'm gonna beat it too. They did call it a good cancer. Again, how am I supposed to know what a good cancer is? I just heard the word cancer and just naturally I'm supposed to think the worst, but again, I'm not. I am worried about the people around me, but I've seen the support I've gotten from my family, my friends, people online, on social media, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that has taken the time out of their day to, see how I am doing. Even though I prefer for me not to talk about it, I prefer to just go through the treatment and get over with. And I get a little weird when I gotta, have people over that are kind of telling me, you're gonna beat it, you're gonna do this. But even though it's awkward during those moments, I appreciate it. I know when the patient has cancer, the family has it as well because it's a fight that we all have to get through it together. And I know I have the best support system, especially my mother, who I always fight with her. I'd say, no, you're a bed bug, you this, you that, leave me alone, go make me coffee. So we argue all the time, but it's friendly arguing, I know that I have no idea where I would be without her. She's somebody that I always say I'm gonna list like on Love It or List It, but she's pretty much priceless. I wouldn't be able to get through this without her. And I was, again, appreciate every support I'm getting. I know we're gonna get through this, and with God's help, I'll look back in a year from now as a victor. Somebody who beat the shit out of cancer. And just as I said that, I felt a little, I felt weird just saying it, but it feels good, and hopefully everything goes right tomorrow. And a week from now, I start treatment, and a year from now, I'll beat this shit. And so that's my story. Again, leave a comment if you want to know anything. I will make updates. I appreciate it, and have a good night.